The first step is to pick a genius you would want to model. And maybe beforehand, I want to give you a brief explanation. What you're doing is you're picking a person who you think is living the life that you want to live, who has the emotional stability that you'd want to have, who has the intelligence that you want to have, who have the habits that you want to have. Basically, a person who inspires you, a person who you would want to model one day, a person you'd want to become similar to. And first step is to pick that person. Pick a genius you would want to model, and make sure you pick someone who you can actually know a bit about their lives. Whether you pick Tony Robbins or Elon Musk or Bill Gates or your dad or myself, pick somebody that you can at least know a bit about their lifestyle and their habits and their success. If you pick somebody from 300-400 years ago in history that inspired you a lot, but you can't really know a lot about them, it's hard to model them in that sense. So pick someone you can actually explore their habits and their emotions and their success in life. And the second step is to unconsciously assimilate the elements or patterns behind the foundation of this genius. Now, at first, it's not going to be unconscious. At first, you're going to start studying this person. You're going to start studying their habits, how they feel and what they think and how they react and what they do in terms of work. Whatever you're trying to model, you would want to assimilate all the information and elements and patterns behind the foundation of their genius and their success. And once you do, you want to start working on them, and you will go through the 4 stages of learning. The 4 stages of learning, they basically create the foundation of how we learn everything. We usually start with unconscious incompetence. This is the part where you are not even aware of your incompetence. And then when you start being aware of what you want to learn, you move into conscious incompetence. You consciously know that there are some things you need to learn. There are some things that you're not competent in. And then you move towards the step of conscious competence, where you start learning the stuff and you start developing, you start modeling the genius or the patterns and the elements that they have. And this is where you start moving towards conscious competence. You can consciously model them and consciously replicate their way of thinking and their emotional states. And you keep doing that with consistency until you get to the point of unconscious competence, where you are unconsciously competent to assimilate the elements or patterns behind the foundation of this genius or their success. And in order for you to do that, you need to practice parallel contextual training of the brain. You want to train your brain in a contextual way in the same context that this genius trains his brain, in a parallel way to what he does and how he thinks and how he feels. You want to model them. And since you have a very clear and vivid image of who they are and what they do, then you can start indulging in the parallel contextual training of the brain. Now, if you do that, you'll be able to access this NLP system. But let's take it a step further. The main idea here is that you are picking a genius or a model that represents the combination of elements you need to get what you're trying to get eventually. Then you use your mirroring ability to align yourself and form the same combination of elements, first consciously and eventually subconsciously. And here is the part where you can take it a step further. You don't need to pick only one model. You can have a role model for your career, a role model for your love life, a role model for your morals, a role model for your physical exercising. There's this fascinating TED Talk. I don't really remember who the speaker was, but what he said is usually that he said, I wake up in the morning and then the Dalai Lama is teaching me how to meditate. And then I go to the gym and I have Arnold Schwarzenegger teaching me how to work out. And then I go to work in the banking sector and I have Warren Buffett mentoring me on how to do my investments. And of course, he didn't have them there with him, but he used this exercise. He used the NLP system of modeling a genius, and implemented it in different parts of his life, and therefore he excelled. He's a multimillionaire and he is excelling in different parts of his life because he mirrored and modeled geniuses. If you want to be great, you got to think like great people. If you want to be successful, you got to think and act like successful people. And it's a very easy method. You can apply and you can start applying those methods on a daily basis for you to start modeling that person step by step and bit by bit. And sooner or later, you will start noticing tremendous change in your life. With that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this lecture, and I'll see you all in the next one.